So hi, good evening. All good? So what was the last thing that we discussed? Acha. So Abdali's invasion which started. Chalo, we'll start with the story. And those who are asking for the optional wala list, give me this break ke time pe I'll send it to the Ravi and then you can have it. Okay? So I was just searching it कि कहीं ना कहीं मैंने रखा था. But then I'll search in the break. Okay? So now, so last class story was all about later Mughals then, and where we discussed that Bahadur Shah's regime, and then after Jahandar Shah, Farrukhsiyar, and Muhammad Shah Rangila. Then, so now understand. So 1739, as we mentioned, that Nadir Shah has defeated Mughal army, and he also looted the very precious peacock throne of the Shah Jahan. Then after he returned back to his own area, and then his death also happened. So he was succeeded by Ahmad Shah Abdali. Then Ahmad Shah Abdali is known for his 7 invasions of India. 7 invasions happened between 1748 to 1767. So last one is in 67 and first one was in 1748, which was the death year of the Muhammad Shah Rangila. Then, and in the due course of time, Ahmad Shah Abdali, what he has done, that he has captured some area from the Mughals. Then, so in this 1748 to 67 ke beech mein, the areas that he has captured is Multan, okay, and Punjab. So Multan and Punjab, I hope all of you must have heard about the Multan, okay. So in Pakistan, and it is very closer to the Iran border. Then very big cricket ground is also there in the Multan. So Multan he captured, and so as the Punjab also he captured. Then, so this is the Ahmad Shah Abdali's beginning, we are saying. Okay? Let's look at the Mughal emperor. So meanwhile, after the death of Muhammad Shah Rangila, that there was a guy who came to the power. Coincidentally, his name was also Ahmad Shah. So the name of the Mughal emperor is Ahmad Shah, and on the other hand, there is an invader whose name is also Ahmad Shah Abdali. Then, so it is during the tenure of the Ahmad Shah, Mughal Emperor Ahmad Shah, Multan and Punjab has gone to Abdali. Then death of the Ahmad Shah happened, and then after Alamgir II is appointed. Then after Alamgir II for a month or so, Shah Jahan III was there. Then, and finally it is in 1860, Shah Alam II was the Mughal emperor. Then, so we need to talk more about Shah Alam. So when Shah Alam II has come to power, I hope you remember who was Shah Alam first. Bahadur Shah. Okay? Bahadur Shah first was also known as Shah Alam first. Then, so Shah Alam was a man of ability and courage. Out of all the Mughal emperors whom we have discussed till this point of time, majority of them didn't have the courage, but he was a man of ability and the courage. He wanted that some sort of re-establishment of the Mughal glory must happen. But the problem with the Shah Alam II was that Mughal glory was beyond redemption. The irreversible decline has already happened from the time of the Muhammad Shah Rangila. Then, moreover, Shah Alam II established a very good cordial relationship with the Marathas. Then, so at his point of time, Marathas were not enemies, but they were a kind of a colleagues to the Shah Alam II. And now, during the tenure of the Shah Alam II, the mighty third battle of the Panipat happened. Okay? And this third battle of Panipat was originally between Maratha and Ahmad Shah Abdali, and Shah Alam II participated from the side of the Marathas. Then, but then unfortunately Marathas were defeated in this battle. There was a thorough defeat of the Marathas. In fact, very large number of the casualties happened in the war. And Maratha episode में फिर से एक बार बात करेंगे इसके बारे में. But then let's look at what happened to Shah Alam. So Shah Alam, after this particular defeat, he was exiled from Delhi. इनको बाहर निकाल दिया, ठीक है? So he was exiled from Delhi, and then he was living near Allahabad. Then that is the time when Delhi was occupied by the agents of Abdali, who were known as Rohillas. Then, so for example, many of you must have heard a place in Delhi which is called as Sarai Rohilla. नाम सुना है? रेलवे स्टेशन है अभी, कहाँ पे हम लोग, करोल बाग, यहीं पीछे की तरफ, हार्डली 5 किलोमीटर्स, ठीक है. सो दैट वाज द हब ऑफ द रोहिल्लास, एंड रोहिल्लास वेर अफगान ओरिजिन पीपल then and agents of Abdali. So they were controlling the administration of Delhi. Then 1772, there was one Maratha Sardar. His name was Mahaji Sindhya. Okay, the same Gwalior family. Okay, so Mahaji Sindhya, he was the one who rescued Shah Alam to Delhi, and he expelled the Rohillas from Delhi. Later on, what has happened that in 1788, there was one Rohilla leader who came to Delhi and he blinded Shah Alam. So Shah Alam from 1788 to 1806, which was the death year. So he continued as the blind ruler of the Delhi. But a phrase which I used in one of the class, that Shah Alam's directly controlled area, it was hardly 20 kilometers. Then, and what was that? So, Sultanate Shah Alam Aj Dilli Te Palam, meaning that his directly controlled area starts from the Purani Delhi, Chandni Chowk, you can say, for the sake, and then ends at the Palam Bihar. Then, so this is what is about him. And by this point of time, British have already become very powerful. तो जब हम regional power में जाते हैं, तो we'll discuss about it, that कि how they are becoming powerful. So they have already become powerful, very powerful. And then by 1806, they have defeated Marathas also in second battle. So now, 1806, the next emperor who was appointed, his name was Akbar II. Then, and during the regime of Akbar II, that Marathas only became a titular ruler or symbolic ruler. Then, and British East India Company changed many of the provisions of that time. So, for example, that in 1835, they changed the official language of India, that is, official language of India was Persian, and they changed it to English. And another thing they did, that before 1835, the coins in India were minted with the name of the Mughal emperor. Now, from 1835, the coins would be minted in the name of the British monarch. Okay? So this is the change. And then after, the last ruler, Bahadur Shah Zafar, or Bahadur Shah II, came to power 1836 to 1857. So he was also a titular ruler, meaning that he was on the pension of the British authority. And then after, during his tenure, the mighty revolt of 1857 happened, which actually led to the end of the formal Mughal rule from India. And so in 1857 part, we'll further talk about Bahadur Shah Zafar. So thoda likho, mention. So you write that, what is the last line? पूरा sentence एक बार पढ़ दो, कोई भी एक आध. You just read, हाँ. By Ahmad Shah Abdali, ठीक है. Good. So mention that in between 1748 to 67, Abdali invaded India 7 times. Abdali invaded India 7 times. Full stop. He captured Multan and Punjab. He captured Multan and Punjab from the Mughal Empire. Done. Then paragraph change karo and then you write, in 1860, Shah Alam II ascended the Mughal throne with the support of Marathas. He was a man of ability. And courage. But Mughal glory was beyond redemption. Mughal glory was beyond redemption. Then you write in 1761, in 1761, in the third battle of Panipat, in the third battle of Panipat, Abdali defeated, in the third battle of Panipat, Abdali defeated Maratha and Shah Alam. Maratha and Shah Alam. Full stop. Then mention. They exiled Shah Alam from Delhi. They exiled Shah Alam from Delhi. Exiled Shah Alam from Delhi and administration of Delhi was given to Rohillas. Administration of Delhi was given to Rohillas. ROHILLA''S. Then Rohillas. एक मिनट के लिए रुको. So this is one part. Then we will be going into the Bengal, where we'll be talking about the Battle of Buxar once again. But here also we just need to understand that what happened. So 1761 onwards, Shah Alam is living in Allahabad. Then, and way back, Akbar has created a fort in Allahabad. So basically that was the residence of the Shah Alam. Then, now Bengal में कुछ अलग episode चल रहा है, and there is a fight between the Bengal ruler Mir Qasim and the British. So in 1763, Mir Qasim arrived in Awadh. He forged alliance with the Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla, and so as with the Shah Alam II. Now there was a grand battle which was fought between the British forces and the combined forces of these three rulers. And once again, British were victorious in this. They thoroughly defeated the combined army. So what it led to? It led to Treaty of Allahabad. So the most important thing in the Treaty of Allahabad was granting of the Diwani right to British East India Company. And what is Diwani right? Revenue collection right of Bihar, Bengal and Odisha. So एक बार लिखो इसको. So mention, he was exiled, last is the last line, exiled from Delhi, and administration was in the hand of the Rohillas. फिर लिखो, in 1764, Grand Alliance of Shah Alam, Awadh ruler, Shah Alam, Awadh ruler, Sujaud-Dawla, and spelling I'm writing. Okay, just wait for it. So Awadh ruler Sujaud-Dawla and Bengal Nawab Mir Qasim. Bengal Nawab Mir Qasim fought with British East India Company. But they were thoroughly defeated. Full stop. As per the Treaty of Allahabad, Shah Alam gave Diwani right. Shah Alam gave Diwani right or revenue collection right of Bihar, Bengal, Odisha. To British East India Company. to British East India Company. Then one last line you write. In 1788, Shah Alam was blinded by a Rohilla leader. नाम लिख रहा हूँ, same name you write. Rohilla leader Ghulam Qadir. Rohilla leader Ghulam Qadir, and he ruled as a blind person till 1806. Done. So till 1806. So now listen. So what we mentioned, that case ke baad Akbar II was the ruler for 30 years till 1837, and during his time British have made two changes. Persian became the no more official language, English became the official language of India, and coins are minted with the name of the British monarch. Then Bahadur Shah Zafar. So Zafar was basically the pen name. Pen name, you understand? That his original name was Bahadur Shah, but then with the name Zafar, he was writing the shero, shairi and poetries. Then, so he was known for writing ghazals and Urdu poetry. But then what happened that during his tenure, the mighty revolt of the 1857 happened, and when the revolt started from Meerut, it reached to Delhi, and the mutineers, they declared Bahadur Shah as their leader. Initially he was hesitant, but later on he was convinced, and he provided his leadership. By the mid of the 1858, revolt was suppressed, and then Bahadur Shah was tried in a court. Then which court? Military court, and military court we call martial. Okay, so court martial, and then he was given punishment, lifetime punishment, and deportation to Myanmar. So Myanmar's capital at that point of time was Rangoon. So he was sent to Rangoon. It is said that in Rangoon itself, his death happened in 1861. But on one hand, this is one case. Another thing, that on 1st of November, then Governor General Canning, he read out Queen Victoria's proclamation, and it declared the end of the Mughal rule from India and the beginning of the British Crown rule in India. And the date was 1st of November 1858, and the place was Allahabad. So mention, you write. During the regime of Akbar II, and in brackets you can write timeline of Akbar II. So 1806 to 37. During the regime of Akbar II, British authority changed the official language of Mughal India from Persian to English. Official language of Mughal India from Persian to English. Full stop. They stopped minting coins. With the name of Mughal monarch. And now coins were minted. With the name of British monarch. Done? Paragraph change. Then mention. Bahadur Shah Zafar. 1837 to 58. Was the last Mughal emperor, and during his tenure, The mighty revolt of 1857, mighty revolt of 1857 happened. After the suppression of revolt, the formal Mughal rule ended. Suppression of revolt, the formal Mughal rule ended with the Queen Victoria Declaration. With the Queen Victoria Declaration, Queen Victoria's declaration on 1st of November, 1858, on 1st of November 1858 at Allahabad. Then, so that is one part of the story, that Mughal part. But then there is another part. You remember that what we wrote in the chronology part, कि 18th century India में three headings थे. One is the later Mughals, and then second was the regional powers. So fight with the later Mughals we have seen. Let's look at with the regional powers and fight between the European powers itself. So abhi, what we are going to see, let's have a look at the French and English fight. ठीक है? उसके बाद then we will go into the, we'll start from the Bengal. Then Bengal के बाद we'll be going to the Mysore. After Mysore, Maratha, and the last will be Punjab. ठीक है? So let's talk about the, एक heading लिख लो, Carnatic Wars. Carnatic Wars. So just listen. So Carnatic Wars. So as we created the map, एक बार फिर से वापस से map देख लेते हैं, that what all things were there in this particular area. Just give me 1 minute. Then, so which area we are calling as a Carnatic? So basically the Coromandel coast of India, which starts from the Andhra and it covers a big part of the Tamil Nadu. Okay? So this entire area is Coromandel. And then Carnatic War में not only the Carnatic was involved, but then Hyderabad was also involved in this war. पहले war से नहीं, but from the second war, Hyderabad was also involved. Then, so now listen. So this area is Carnatic, and here Hyderabad. So listen. So basically, what was the status of the Carnatic in the Mughal Empire? Was it a part of the Mughal Empire? Yes, it was. ठीक है? But थोड़ा सा सुन लो. So Carnatic was a semi-independent kingdom from the time of the Aurangzeb itself. So Aurangzeb gave it the recognition of the sub-kingdom within Mughal Empire. अगर जो हिंदी में इसको explain करना हो तो I would say कि Carnatic का राजा, he has accepted the supremacy of the Aurangzeb. So राजा के अंदर राजा. सब किंगडम का मतलब यही होता है कि राजा के अंदर राजा, मीनिंग दैट द बिग एम्परर इज द औरंगजेब एंड देन ही हैज रिकॉग्नाइज्ड द एम्पररशिप ऑफ द कार्नेटिक आल्सो, मीनिंग दैट मुगल इन्फ्लुएंस इज देयर इन द कार्नेटिक. देन एंड मोर ओवर हैदराबाद वाज वन ऑफ द प्रोविंस ऑफ द मुगल इंडिया. ठीक है? सो दिस इज अ प्योर प्रोविंस ऑफ द मुगल इंडिया. मोर ओवर फॉर एनी सच काइंड ऑफ बिजनेस विद द मुगल, ठीक है, always the transaction of Carnatic was happening with the Carnatic, Hyderabad governor. Meaning, suppose कि Carnatic को कुछ पैसे भेजने हैं. As per the arrangement with the Aurangzeb, if they want to send some taxes to the Aurangzeb, so they do it through the Hyderabad governor. ठीक है? So that's how Hyderabad was also very much attached to the Carnatic. Now, issue in Carnatic is that the Carnatic rulers, whoever they were there, abhi naam nahi bata raha hu because it leads to a lot of confusion because 7-8 names are there. So just understand that in 1739-40, death of one of the ruler has happened, and then two people from the same family, they have started fighting for the power. Okay? That they want to become the emperor. This is the time when the French governor Dupleix, who was stationed in the Carnatic, he felt that if I support one of the candidate, then And if that guy comes to the power, so he will give me more area in the Carnatic. Then, so I can further expand from the Pondicherry to many other places in the Carnatic. He did this thing. British, who were also there in the Carnatic, because Madras was in the Carnatic area only, so they also felt that they will also support the rival candidate. So the candidate which is supported by French, uska ulta wala candidate was supported by the British. Then, so this particular thing led to the fight between them also, and so as the Carnatic Nawab also. So three people are involved in the Carnatic wars. One is the Carnatic Nawab, and another is the French, and another is the British. Okay? So total three wars happened. So very first war started from 1740 to 46. The second war was from 1749 to 1756, and the 1754, and the last war was from 1756 to 1763. So let's look at the wars, these three wars. So now, understand, very first war, as we mentioned, because of the interference of the duplex, British also started to interfere, and the war started between them. So finally what happened is that in this war, though the French became victorious, but एक और issue था इसके साथ, ठीक है? That French became victorious. So not only British and French were fighting in India, but coincidentally they were also fighting in Europe and North America. And French were defeated in North America. Then, though India में तो वो victorious हो गए, but then they were defeated in North America. So it was decided that let's maintain status quo. You understand what is status quo? कि जैसा इंडिया में पहले था before the war, the same situation, and जैसा अमेरिका में पहले था, the same situation. ठीक है? So the treaty which was signed between them, it is known as Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. ठीक है? So as per the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, the status quo was maintained. Meaning, despite being victorious in India, French did not got anything in the war. Why so? Because they were defeated in North America. ठीक है? तो पहला वॉर तो ऐसे खत्म हो गया. Second war started in 1749. There were reasons for the second war. What are the reasons? The death at the two places. Carnatic Nawab, फिर से वापस से एक और death हो रही है. That Carnatic Nawab Anwaruddin, he was killed in one battle. Then by French themselves. So French killed him. ठीक है? And on the other hand, in Hyderabad, the founder of the Hyderabad, whom we were mentioning last day, Asaf Jah. So his death happened. So after the death of these two people, one the ruler of the Carnatic and another the ruler of the Hyderabad, war of succession started. So war in Carnatic was between Chanda Sahib and son of the Muhammad Anwaruddin, Muhammad Ali. Okay? So two contenders in Carnatic and two contenders in Hyderabad. So their names are Nasir Jung and Muzaffar Jung. What British and French company are doing? So French company supported Muzaffar Jung in Hyderabad and Chanda Sahib in Carnatic. On the other hand, British company, they have supported Nasir Jung in Hyderabad and Muhammad Ali in that Carnatic area. Finally, in the second battle, this war of succession, French were completely successful. They were successful in appointing Muzaffar Jung in Hyderabad and Chanda Sahib in this area. Okay? But this is not the end of the war. Now British felt that there was a kind of a doom scenario in the British company. Okay? They felt that this is what was written in the destiny, that French will defeat us. Then, so they were not thinking of giving a befitting reply to the French. But all of a sudden there was a change in the company. And what was the change? ध्यान से समझना इस बात को. Change was that the new general was appointed in the British company. His name was Saunders. Then, and at the same point of time, there was a young clerk in the British company whose name was, I hope you know, Robert Clive. Okay? So he was a clerk. He was not an army personnel. He was a clerk. So at that point of time, Robert Clive gave a suggestion to Saunders. He said, Carnatic capital is Arcot. Then, so if you give me some people from the British army, I will capture the Arcot and then I will defeat Chanda Sahib and kill over there. And then after we can reinitiate the fight and then we can defeat the French. Then there is a complicated story over there, but I'm cutting short. Then, bas itna samajhna. So this famous incident happened in 1751, then, which is famously called as Siege of Arcot. Just with 600 people, Robert Clive captured Arcot. And then what happened? Chanda Sahib, who was out of the capital, so then it was captured. Then Chanda Sahib, when heard the news that his capital has been captured by Robert Clive, he returned back. And when he returned back, so already Robert Clive was holding the fort from inside. And then Chanda Sahib was on the gateways of his own capital. And after some point of time, a bigger British army came. So scenario aisa tha that this is Arcot. Consider this as a Arcot. So inside Arcot, who is there? Robert Clive. And Chanda Sahib, who was outside, when he heard this news, he has arrived. So now he is outside Arcot. And when he was already there at Arcot, so a bigger British force was waiting, and they came over here. Then Chanda Sahib is sandwiched between British and British. Getting it? Andar mein British or bahar mein British. He was captured, he was killed, and it led to the defeat of the French because Chanda Sahib has come back with the French. Then, so second battle mein finally it was British who were victorious. Then, and after it, what has happened? So French government was very angry with the duplex and they recalled duplex after it. So it is considered as a mistake on the part of the French government because they thought that now the strategy making of the duplex is over. He is no more intelligent and he is responsible for all the defeats. Then, so he was called back to France. And then finally the last battle when it happened. So British comfortably in 1760, Battle of Vandevous, they defeated French. And now French has to wind up the imperial ambition from India as per the Treaty of Paris. अब इस स्टोरी में आई एम गिविंग यू चांस वेर एवर यू फील दैट यू हैवंट अंडरस्टूड मुझे बताओ मैं रिपीट करूंगा सो या समझ में आया तो आई विल जस्ट गो अहेड आई विल जस्ट डू द डिक्टेशन नहीं आई टेल यू ठीक है सो द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज दैट वाइंड अप कर दिया आई विल टेल यू दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वाइंड अप वाज देयर बट एक स्टोरी में तो समझ में आया कि कैसे क्या हुआ ठीक है देयर आर सर्टेन पार्ट्स व्हिच विल बी डूइंग द डीपर एनालिसिस व्हेन द फाउंडेशन वी विल स्टार्ट ठीक है सो एक बार फिर से मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं क्योंकि मुझे जो लगता है बट आई फील दैट कार्नेटिक एपिसोड दैट आर सो मेनी डिटेल्स कि दिमाग कभी इधर जाता है कभी उधर जाता है ठीक है सो लेट मी स्टार्ट इट वंस अगेन हाउ इट ऑल स्टार्टेड ठीक है सो बेसिकली व्हाट हैपेंड दैट कार्नेटिक एरिया देयर इज सम सॉर्ट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल टर्मोइल इन द कार्नेटिक मतलब रूलर की डेथ एंड देन फाइट इन द कार्नेटिक हाउस फ्रेंच गवर्नर ड्यूप्लेक्स थॉट कि अच्छा मौका है दिस इज अ बिग अपॉर्चुनिटी लेट्स इंटरफेयर सपोर्ट वन कैंडिडेट if he comes to power I will get more privilege but British were not fools they were looking at it they started supporting the other candidate and then all of them started fighting in this fight French completely defeated British and so as the Carnatic that Nawab also was killed after it then so they completely defeated British but then they did not got anything in the Carnatic why they were defeated in the North America and uski wajah se the status quo was maintained in India. That's first thing. 1748 and 49. Death of Asaf Jah and death of the Carnatic Nawab Muhammad Anwaruddin has happened. Both the places, once again, war of succession. Carnatic में दो candidate, the two candidates are Chanda Sahib and Muhammad Ali. And in Hyderabad, two candidates, Muzaffar Jung and Nasir Jung. French supported Muzaffar Jung for Hyderabad and Chanda Sahib for Carnatic. They were successful in this regard and they appointed the two kings. But then there was change in the British army at this point of time. New General Saunders and suggestion by Robert Clive. And what was the suggestion? Let's capture Arcot. When Chanda Sahib will return back, we will bring much bigger army, sandwich him, kill him. It worked perfectly. So when Chanda Sahib was outside Arcot, Robert Clive with 600 people entered into the Arcot and then he has captured the fort. And when Chanda Sahib returned back after him, so he is returning and then one more British army is following him. So he is sandwiched between the two, defeated. And then after Dupleix was called back from India. This is regarded as a mistake. And finally the third battle, though started in 1756, but the most important battle was Battle of Vandavasi. In actually the name of the place is Vandavasi, but you know British were not able to pronounce the Indian names then, so that's how they wrote Vandavasi as Vandi Wash then. So 1760, this Vandivos battle happened, and then they defeated, okay? So they defeated French thoroughly, and then after Treaty of Paris was signed. So now your question I'm replying. So Treaty of Paris, it said that French can continue their trade and commerce in India. Meaning that wherever their trading centers are there, so they can sell their commodity, they can purchase the commodity, but they will not do any expansion in India. This is what we call winding up of the imperial ambition. What is imperial ambition? Expansion in India. Then, so now they cannot do any expansion in India. And if at all they are going to start anything new in India, so all the time they will have to take the permission of the British. Okay? So this is why we say that British East India Company as the sole big power, European power in India. Then, so mention, you're right. So thoda sa likh lo that what was Carnatic, what was Hyderabad. Just like one line. Mention Carnatic was the Coromandel coast of India. Coromandel coast of India. Coromandel लिख लोगे ना? So Coromandel coast of India and its hinterland. So how you write hinterland? Hinterland, and its hinterland. Then mention further. It was a sub-kingdom recognized by Aurangzeb. It was a sub-kingdom recognized by Aurangzeb in 1690. In 1690. Then mention. Paragraph change karo. Both British and French had their important headquarter in Carnatic, that is Madras and Pondicherry. ठीक है? That is Madras and Pondicherry. Then mention in 1740 there was 1740. ठीक? In 1740 there was an internal crisis in Carnatic. There was an internal crisis in Carnatic which led to intervention by French Governor Dupleix. Then mention very soon British also started to interfere in the Carnatic politics. Full stop. It led to beginning of First Carnatic War. It led to beginning of First Carnatic War. So timeline you can mention if you want 1740 to 46. Then though French thoroughly defeated British, but they themselves were defeated. But French, they themselves that means French. So they themselves were defeated in North America. They themselves were defeated in North America by British forces. They themselves were defeated in North America by British forces. Full stop. As such, French victory did not lead to French victory in India लिखना. French victory in India did not lead to their expansion and increased privileges. Their expansion and increased privileges. Full stop. Change paragraph. Mention. In 1748 and 49, 1748 and 49, War of Succession started in Hyderabad and Carnatic. After the death of their rulers. Then mention French supported claim of Muzaffar Jung. So you can see the spelling I'm writing over here. So Muzaffar Jung for Hyderabad and Chanda Sahib for Carnatic. Chanda Sahib for Carnatic. Then mention. On the other hand, British supported claim of Nasir Jung for Hyderabad and Muhammad Ali for Carnatic. Then mention. Finally, French were successful in installing their candidates. French were successful in installing or appointing भी लिख सकते हो, installing their candidates at both the places. Then फिर से you change paragraph and then you mention. At this point of time, there was a change in the structure. Of British Company. Full stop. The newly appointed general Saunders. Wanted to fight with French. Then At this time, a young clerk, Robert Clive, suggested an intelligent strategy, that is siege of Carnatic capital Arcot. That is siege of, just give me 1 minute, siege of Carnatic capital Arcot. Done. Mention. It worked perfectly. And led to the first victory of British. Against French and also led to death of Chanda Sahib. Full stop. Paragraph change karo. Angered with the French defeat in India, comma, French government recalled Dupleix. Which was a mistake on their part. Then, paragraph change. During the Third Carnatic War, a very important battle was fought at Vandy Wash in 1760. Full stop. In this fight, French were thoroughly defeated. Full stop. The third war ended with Treaty of Paris. Full stop. Write 2-3 more lines and then we'll go into the discussion. Though French were allowed to continue their trade and commerce in India, but they were forced to accept British protectorate in India. You can see the spelling I'm writing over here. British protectorate in India. Brackets mein likh lo. But what is the meaning of this word? So first you write and then I'm mentioning what you write in brackets. For all the new initiatives, brackets mein likho, for all the new initiatives in India new initiatives in India, they had to seek, for all the new initiatives in India, they had to seek the permission of British authority. They had to seek the permission of British authority. Then, so this is what is about this particular Carnatic War. Then, and now after the Carnatic War, as it is visible that British has emerged as the sole power in India, sole European power in India. So now one company and their fight with the rest of the kingdoms. Then, so let's look at the regional powers. Okay. So regional powers में the most powerful, not powerful, most richest was the Bengal, and powerful अगर जो बात करें तो most powerful was the Maratha. So understand that being rich is a one aspect. That does not mean that if somebody is rich, so he will be powerful also. Power is derived from the military strength. Okay? So the military strength or the army of the Maratha was very powerful. But as far as the economic aspect is concerned, Bengal was the richest. There were many reasons that why Bengal was the richest. You look at the topography of the Bengal. Highly rich soil. Okay? So many rivers, perennial or ephemeral, perennial rivers. Okay? So perennial rivers meaning that all the time water is there. Then apart from it, Bengal has a very good climate also for the agricultural productivity. And moreover, that Bengal right from the beginning, okay, there was an intellectual awakening in the Bengal. Then there was an industrious activity in the Bengal. So counting majority of the reason, it was the richest province of the Mughal India. So now British were very smart. एक phrase है, there is one British historian and his name is very interesting, Will Smith. Then, so Will Smith wrote about the difference between the French and British. So he wrote that while on one hand, French were trying to find the key of India in Madras. Okay? While on one hand, French were trying to find the key of India in Madras, British found it in Calcutta. Okay? So what does it mean? Meaning that French just wanted their expansion in Madras. They were not too much expansive or too much aspirational about their expansion in the other parts of India. But then on one hand, you look at the British, on one hand they are fighting in the Madras also, Carnatic area. And on the other hand, they will initiate a fight in the Bengal also. So actually at one point of time, they were fighting at many fronts. And that was the reason that they became highly successful. And actually, it is their Bengal victory which has led to the foundation of the British beginnings in India. So now understand. So British are already there in the Bengal. And you remember that 1717 Farman of the Farrukhsiyar allowed the duty-free trade then. So in Bihar, Bengal and Odisha. So that was there. Then now what happened that British are operating in Bengal, and in 1756 there was death of the Bengal Nawab Alivardi Khan. Okay? Till the time of the Alivardi Khan everything was good. Then but then when his death happened, so wahan pe bhi war of succession. Acha, just before going into it, then just look at it. Then what British have done? They were a handful of the people. कुछ ही लोग थे, ठीक है? They were a handful of the people. But then they went on to rule a country of the 24 crores at the time of the India's partition, ठीक है? Freedom and partition. So how it became possible? It became possible because Indians were not united. They themselves were always fighting for the power. Then, so as you have seen, कि Carnatic में भी यही हुआ, अब Bengal में भी यही होना है. So in Bengal, what happened? 1756, death of the Bengal Nawab Alivardi Khan happened. Then, and after the death, his daughter, okay, and his grandson, they started fighting for the power. Then, so the name of the grandson was Sirajuddaulah and daughter was Ghasiti Begum. Then, naam bhi majedar hai, okay. So the fight between the two started. Then, so Ghasiti Begum and Sirajuddaulah. And Sirajuddaulah, we are saying son, a grandson. So grandson kaise tha? Actually, he was the son of the other daughter. Okay. So Alivardi के बेटे नहीं थे, सिर्फ बेटियां थी, ठीक है? So then, so he was son of the other daughter. Basically, Ghasiti Begum कौन हुई? Mausi. Okay? So she is Mausi. So then this fight is with the Mausi. And then what happened? Sirajuddaulah was finally victorious, in which, so he did not kill the Ghasiti Begum, but then he ascended to the throne. Then, now, when he has ascended to the throne, so British had a different plan at this point of time. They earlier they wanted to support, they wanted from their own hearts and minds that Ghaziti Begum must become the ruler. They felt that if a woman become the ruler, so then it will be easy to mend her, bend her, ठीक है? So this is what was their thought process. But काम तो चला नहीं, ठीक है? Then what happened? Sirajuddaulah has come to power. So they decided that they will be following the policy of the conspiracy in the Bengal court over the period, and then after they will topple Sirajuddaulah, and it will lead to some sort of beginning in the this particular area. So initially what happened when Sirajuddaulah he was appointed to the throne, so deliberately they were provoking him, okay? They started provoking him. So first of all एक provocation ये था that जब भी India में कोई भी ruler, any ruler was appointed, and if any European company wanted a trade right or some privilege in that area, so they did made some peshkas or nazrana, basically some sort of gift. Then so they did not send any gift to the Sirajuddaulah when he was appointed as the emperor. Apart from it, there was one fugitive from the Bengal. His name was Krishna Das. Then and British deliberately gave him the asylum in the Fort William so that Sirajuddaulah becomes little bit of furious. And then what they did, that without the permission of the Sirajuddaulah, they mounted the guns on the walls of the Fort William. Then so Sirajuddaulah sent the order to the British company that they must immediately remove the guns from the walls. But then they wanted कि किसी न किसी तरह से fight start हो, so they did not remove the guns from the wall. Now Sirajuddaulah was offended and he marched towards Calcutta. Okay? When he moved to Calcutta, so all of them fled from the Calcutta. Okay? Only 150 or 140 people were there. So actually यहाँ पे एक incident हुआ था. Incident is known as black hole incident. Have you heard about it? Some of you must have heard. So black hole tragedy. So what happened? That as per the details of that time, that Sirajuddaulah he ordered that those who are in the Fort William, they must be kept inside a very small room. Our dimension of the room was very, very small, 14 feet and 18 feet. So 14 is the width and 18 is the that length of the, and height was 10 feet only. So as per the calculation that not more than 70 people can be stuffed inside it. But then these people were stuffed and it was the month of the June. Next morning, on 21st of June 1856, when the gates were opened, so only 21 people survived and rest of the people died. Then now this is what the British historians call as a black hole tragedy. After it, those people who have fled from the Calcutta, they have gone to Madras, and who was stationed in Madras? Robert Clive. So they brought Robert Clive to Calcutta, and Robert Clive started to hatch the conspiracy in the Bengal court. So he bribed many of the important officials of the Bengal court. So there was one very influential class in the Bengal court, Jagat Seths. They were bribed so as the commander-in-chief of the Bengal forces, what was his name? Mir Zafar. So Mir Zafar was also bribed. And what was the bribe? So Mir Zafar was that he was asked that if he supports the British authority in toppling of the Sirajuddaulah, killing of the Sirajuddaulah, so he will be appointed as the next Nawab. He acceded to the designs of the British, and finally the Battle of Plassey happened. So Battle of Plassey was initiated by the British themselves. They started marching towards the Bengal capital. And what was the Bengal capital? Murshidabad. Then so when the news was heard by Sirajuddaulah that they have started marching, so from the counter side he also started marching, as if it was not a very weak army. Sirajuddaullah's army was also tough, but the problem was his own commander-in-chief of the forces was not on his side and he did not knew. So when the war happened, Mir Zafar performed, or he performed the coup. You understand what is coup? C-O-U-P. Meaning Takhta Palat. And in this particular Takhta Palat, or in the coup, Sirajuddaulah was captured and later on he was executed, he was killed, which led to the appointment of Mir Zafar as the next Nawab of the Bengal. But we need to understand, Mir Zafar was a sponsored Nawab. Sponsoring समझते हो? And कोई दूसरा पीछे से आपको back कर रहा है. Somebody else is appointing you. And actually when somebody else is appointing you, so then you will have to act according to the somebody else. Then so प्रधानमंत्री मैं हूं, लेकिन मुझे कोई और बता रहा है कि व्हाट आई हैव टू डू. It's like a sponsorship. ठीक है. So you are a head of the state, but somebody else is instructing कि इधर ये करना है, उधर वो करना है. So that kind of thing. ठीक है. So similar thing happened in this Bengal area, and we'll talk further about the Mirs the first time. Then loot of the Bengal has also started from the 1757, which is very famously called as Plassey plunder. So isme there are some amounts I'll be mentioning, that how much they have looted from the Bengal after 1757. Okay, so thoda sa likho. So you write the title Regional Power of Bengal. Mention Regional Power of Bengal. So mention Bengal was the richest province of Mughal India. Bengal was the richest province of Mughal India, and it developed a very efficient economic system under the leadership of Murshid Quli Khan, under the leadership of Murshid Quli Khan and Ali Vardi Khan. Murshid Quli Khan and Ali Vardi Khan. Full stop. After the death of Ali Vardi, in 1756, War of Succession started. Among his grandson and daughter. Full stop. Finally, grandson Sirajuddaulah became the Nawab. Full stop. At this time, employees of British East India Company wanted to increase their influence and establish monopoly of trade in Bengal. You understand what is monopoly of trade? थोड़ा बताओ मुझे, then I'll add some story into it. नहीं, dominating the market. हाँ ठीक है. अब एक चीज सुन लो, that I haven't discussed, but then I usually keep it for the other classes, but then obviously there are some details which must be provided. So listen, basically as we mentioned कि Bengal was the richest area, तो anybody will like that कि Bengal में मैं dominate करूं, ठीक है. So Sirajuddaulah was a very open ruler then, and later on in economics classes you read about the very famous theory of the Adam Smith, laissez-faire. Have you heard about it? What is so laissez-faire theory? Free trade theory, open economy. ठीक है. So for example, suppose कि अगर जो हम एक बात करते हैं कि only the Bisleri is only one company which will be producing the water, ठीक है, which will be creating the water bottle, mineral bottles. So in this scenario, what will happen? तुम्हारे पास कोई choice ही नहीं है, ठीक है? If you want to buy, so you will have to only buy Bisleri, ठीक है? And then moreover, whatever way, since Bisleri is the only player, so ये जैसा भी पानी दे लेना तो पड़ेगा. That's their monopoly of trade, ठीक है? But then if the government is saying कि सब लोग बना सकते हैं पानी, ठीक है? Everyone can create. Then so French will also create, and then you will also create. So French are creating this brand, and then British are creating this brand. So at least there is a competition. कि इसका पानी खराब हुआ तो हम ये तो buy कर सकते हैं. You getting it? So this is what Sirajuddaula wanted, कि nobody would be given monopoly of trade. French भी operate करें, British भी operate करें, Indian traders also must operate. But British wanted that French must not be given any such kind of permission. They must be asked to wind up their trade and commerce from the Bengal. This was not accepted by the Sirajuddaula, and that's why British started conspiring in the Bengal. तो अगर जो सिराजुद्दौला ने accept कर लिया होता, तो there would not have been Battle of Plassey, but in other way British would have dominated the economy of the Bengal. Then, so this is why they started to create the hatch the conspiracy. So likho. So what you have mentioned, monopoly of trade in Bengal, okay? But Sirajuddaula did not allow it. But Sirajuddaula did not allow it. As such, British started to hatch conspiracy. As such, British started to hatch conspiracy against Sirajuddaula. British started to hatch, HATCH, conspiracy against Sirajuddaula. Full stop. Paragraph change, you write. They provoked Sirajuddaula by installing guns on Fort William. Guns on Fort William, Calcutta. They disobeyed the orders of Bengal Nawab. They disobeyed the orders of Bengal Nawab and did not remove guns from the walls. Did not remove guns from the walls. Then, as such, Siraj marched to Fort William, which finally led to Black Hole tragedy. Then mention. Paragraph change. After some point of time, Robert Clive arrived from Madras and started to bribe many important officers of Bengal court. Which included Commander-in-Chief of Bengal forces, commander-in-chief of Bengal forces, Mir Zafar. Mir Zafar. Write a title, Battle of Plassey. So I'll tell you some details related to Battle of Plassey. बस टाइटल लिख के छोड़ दो, बैटल ऑफ प्लासी 1757. हाँ, दे आर डिफरेंट, अभी बात करेंगे, ठीक है. सो जस्ट लिसन. सो व्हाट हैपेंड दैट दो as we mentioned that this battle, that Bengal army was not weak. The only thing that his own commander-in-chief of the forces was not on the side. But then there was one mistake on the part of the Siraj-ud-Daulah. Even Mir Zafar has effected the coup. 2/3 of the army was there with the Siraj-ud-Daulah. 1/3 ही defect हुआ था, ठीक है. So still he could not be defeated. The reason he got defeated, ध्यान से समझना इस बात को. The fight is happening in the June, ठीक है, mid of the June, and then June is the month of the onset of the monsoon. Then so onset of the monsoon, though in Kerala, but इस time पे if you look at the Bengal, so Bengal में बहुत तेज rain होता है, torrential rains happen, and these rains are called as काल बैसाखी. Geography में पढ़ोगे काल बैसाखी. So what happened that Robert Clive was very much aware about this climate kind of thing, कि कभी भी किसी टाइम पे बारिश हो सकती है. So he is intelligent guy. So the fights of those times, they were happening on the basis of gunpowder. बारूद के बेसिस पे होता था, ठीक है. जिसके पास जितना बारूद उतनी उसकी ताकत, ठीक है. So it was all decided that who had the big quantity of the gunpowder. Now what happened? Siraj-ud-Daulah, he also brought huge amount of the gunpowder. On the other hand, Robert Clive also. But then Robert Clive, with him, he brought tarpaulins. You understand tarpaulins? Cover, ठीक है? Cover. So he knew that what if the rain happens? So if the rain goes into the gunpowder, किसी काम का नहीं, it all will lost. Then, so and according to his expectation, rains happened, and then he covered all his gunpowder. On the other hand, Siraj-ud-Daulah hasn't brought, who was the native of that area, he did not brought any tarpaulin, anything to cover gunpowder, and his entire gunpowder was washed away in the rains. Then that was the major reason of the defeat. I hope you got it. Okay? So Siraj-ud-Daulah was captured, and then he was killed by the son of the Mir Zafar, whose name was Mira. After this battle has happened, that Mir Zafar was appointed as the next Nawab of the Bengal. But then obviously he will have to give something to the British. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि British are sant, they will not take anything. They are just there to help Mir Zafar. They have their own cause. So they got huge amount of money. I'm telling you what is there's all money. So immediately Mir Zafar, as the Nawab of the Bengal, from the treasury of the Bengal, he gave them 2 lakhs